our new pools in the new St. James Park. This is the 21st of May, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we've invited everybody in the area around St. James, Rolla, Bell, Cuba, Steelville, and the other towns in this region to come over for an open house party of our new facilities the James Foundation has just completed. We have 3 new pools to go with our park, which has a ball field and shelters, playgrounds, and a comfort station and a nice parking lot that we hope will be an asset to the community. This is one of several projects we've completed in this area, and we think that the people, from the interest they've shown, will like the park and use it the same as the other projects we've started or fostered here in St. James. Grace Muller is our Vice President of the James Foundation and librarian who runs the James Memorial Library here in St. James, which is another project of the Foundation. Grace, you've seen all the projects start, and you've probably seen all of them finish. What do you think at this point?
I think this is one of the biggest ones yet, Ford. When you started digging the hole for that pool there, I never thought it would look like this. I'm just thrilled to pieces with it. I
was just telling Louis, if we'd have waited till June the 5th, it would have been 1 year building this park.
Goodness.
So we couldn't wait, though. We had to get it open.
I can't wait to go down and have a picnic down there.
Well,
that's one of my old haunts when I was a child. I grew up down there.
It certainly looks nice.
I can't wait to get back down there and have a picnic.
Could you say something? You know this area long before I did, and what it was used for before we built the park here. You've lived near this area all your life.
Well, this park never was used for anything, really. I mean, it was just here, and it wasn't used for anything particular, only that we, as children, used to go down, and wintertime we used to use some of these hills that have grown up now, the trees, to slide down and play down on the rocks down there.
Well, you know, we've saved about all those old rocks, and I hope that they stay there for years to come.
Well, you've done a wonderful job on that picnic area down there, keeping it native, keeping it the kind of a place it ought to be.
Well, what do you think of all these people there? Of course, they're beginning to disperse around over the area, but are you satisfied with our opening so far?
Yes, it's a wonderful cross-section. I've really been quite pleased with the people. It's a good cross-section of people. I think we'll have lots more this evening.
Good. Well, thank you. Agnes? This is Agnes Muller, sister of Grace Muller, as you can probably know by the names. Agnes, what do you think of our opening day here in our park we've worked so hard to build?
Well, it surpasses anything I'd hoped for. It's wonderful. All the people are coming, and I'm so glad it's a beautiful day.
Do you think it's going to fit into the community along with the other programs that we've started? You've been in on the thing from the start. You knew Mrs. James. You knew her wishes. Do you feel that what we've done here is pretty much compatible to what she wanted and what she thought about?
I certainly do. I think she would be very happy to see this here today.
Oh, good. That's a thing we all want to be happy about. R.B. Scholl is our superintendent of maintenance. You know, we have another park similar to this park, which is a lot older and a lot more history to it. And R.B. came to us about 2 years ago to take care of the maintenance end of the park with our 2 superintendents. And R.B., I know that you've put in a lot of work here. What do you think of our opening today?
I think it's fine. I think the facilities are well designed and well built and should give service for a long time. The landscaping's beautiful. A lot of it's natural, and what has been put here is a very fine job, I think.
Well, I think that, of course, I'll agree with you on that from the hours you put in on it, but looking over the crowd that's here and the usability of it, do you feel that our project here will be equal or, we hope, better than other projects we've started?
Well, yes, I believe it will be. It'll be a service to many people of all ages.
And it should be in years to come a much more usable facility than it is right now. Well, thanks a lot, R.B. Now we have Louis Markey, our young park superintendent, who's probably put more time in on this park than anyone else. And Louis, I know that you have a real dedicated feeling for this park. You was here when the first line was drawn, and you're here today when it's open. So just what are your feelings?
Well, it's sure beautiful. I hope the people enjoy it. We put a lot of work in it, as you said. We think we have a nice park. I hope the kids and the people and the town really appreciate it.
Did you feel, Louis, while you were building this park, that you had some aesthetic feeling towards the lady that left all of this for us, Mrs. James? You didn't know her, neither did I. But do you feel that what you've accomplished here fits in with her wishes and the desires that she might have had?
I think she'd be very happy to see that.
That's real good. Seems to be the general consensus of opinion. Are you happy with the turnout so far in this first hour of our open house?
If it keeps going like this, we're going to have a big crowd.
Good. Well, how many were you expecting today?
Well, 500, 600.
500 or 600. Well, that'd be a good amount. We have another gentleman with us today that has been in St. James for many years, who was a personal friend and a good acquaintance of Mrs. James, Mr. Eddie Wilson. Eddie, how old are you, if you don't mind telling me?
I'm 74 past.
74 years old. In all these years you've lived here, you've seen the foundation develop, and you knew Mrs. James's wishes. Do you think we've pretty well complied with her wishes?
We've done more and applied in lots of ways, in a way of patronizing the springs and sending foreign cards and so forth.
Do you think that the Merrimack Spring grounds and the St. James Park grounds here now are pretty much compatible to her wishes?
They exceed my imagination.
Well, that's fine, Eddie. I notice you have some pictures there of you and Mr. Hayes have corresponded some.
I understand that.
This tell us something about your family as relation to all our facilities.
I have 12 living children at the present time, 32 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren, and the family is a union that visit the Merrimack Springs. And they said it was a mighty fine pavilion that they let us have, which we appreciate. And I thank Mr. Hayes for the opportunity, and they asked for the photographic copies of the family.
And this is the photographic copy?
That is the actual photographic
well, that's
copy.
fine. How many grandchildren you got now, Eddie?
Well, I've got 32, 2 great-grandchildren.
Well, good.
There's 11 graduates in the family, 3 trained nurses so far.
Good.
And family doing mighty well.
Fine. And you did know Mrs. James quite well?
I knew her when I was a young fella.
Good.
And in fact, I was a bait boy for Delasella, which had the Merrimack Springs.
Well, that's fine.
I worked down there 3 months.
Okay, well, Eddie, we're sure happy that you come over today and look the place over.
Well, I certainly appreciate being here and having the opportunity to come here.
Well, good. We're glad to have
getting
you.
up in that time, you know.
Okay, well, thanks a lot,
Well,
Eddie.
I appreciate it.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
glad I've come.
Good luck to you.
Beautiful place.
Thank you. Now, we've got a couple other gentlemen we'd like to talk to. I believe we'll take on the St. James Chamber of Commerce president, Mr. Leo M. Cardetti. Just kidding him here about his not being too old, but he's still the head of the Chamber of Commerce, which we consider a little older generation for the leaders of the town. Leo, you've seen a lot of the activities here in St. James the foundation's helped do, and projects we've started, and you probably saw this park when we first started. So at first entrance of the gate out here, what do you think about it at this point?
Well, I think I heard someone mention before the 8th wonder of St. James, and it certainly is for it. I mean, it's really hard to realize when it's right here under our eyes that such a wonderful gift like this could be bestowed upon a community by a woman that had the foresight and loved her community as like this. It's quite a unique thing, and sometimes when you sit and think about it, it makes chills go up and down your spine, really.
Well, she certainly had foresight, didn't she? Leo, from the business standpoint of your town, do you feel that the foundation projects and the our flower program, our tree program, and now these pools, which is open to the public, has had any impact or effect on the city business as to bringing people? You know, they got poverty programs going all over the country. How about our poverty?
Absolutely, Ford. I travel around considerably and had a lot of salesmen call on me, and I've told them the story of the James Foundation several times, and really they can't believe it. They just don't think that there's something like this in the world, not only in the United States, but in the world. And as far as I have people come into my place from other towns and just told me that they drive in off of the highway just to look at the Plaza area. Of course, the Springs, I feel that everyone knows, second to none in the state, I feel.
Well, that's good.
And just the whole picture of the fire program and just St. James and is brought lots of business in town.
Do you think that our newest project here now will be beneficial to all our children, give them a little bit more expanded feeling and recreation?
My goodness.
It'll bring people into our town.
I was just born 20 years too soon.
Thanks a lot, Leo, and I'm sure that the Chamber of Commerce will benefit a great deal this year from your leadership.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for being with us today. I have another gentleman Mr. Dick Smallwood of the Junior Chamber of Commerce. Dick, we're glad to have you with us today. Dick is an old-time boy with me. He was a student when I had him in high school. I don't want to say what kind of student he was, but he seems to have done real well. Dick, you're one of the younger generation, we might say, and you might say you've grown up with this tree program or flower program and now this park. So as you're representing the Junior Chamber of Commerce, what do you people feel as benefit or the goodness of these type projects?
Well, Ford, I'd say that the projects are just magnificent in what they've done for the town, and I'd say that we are probably approaching, if not almost reached, a model town from the facilities that are available and what the James Foundation has sponsored and encouraged, and even in the case of this pool and this beautiful park that it actually built for the town.
There's one thing I ought to mention, Dick. For our posterity here, Dick is a third generation, is it? Your grandfather was a employee.
Well, fourth generation. Right?
Be the fourth generation. Your grandfather was a direct employee of William James.
And his father was also.
And his father worked at the ironworks at Merrimack Spring Park. So we're real happy and glad that you've stayed in this community. I know your father is still here, and I know a lot of your relatives that started from Merrimack Springs, and it's real good that you as a young man can see what Mrs. James, who would be near your father, a little older than your father now, has done in her thoughtfulness for St. James.
Well, as from the younger people's standpoint, Ford, I'm very anxious to see what comes next. I've seen many of these projects blossom, and everything has reached such a peak that every job seems to reach near perfection. I'm just anxious to see what you take on next.
Well, good. I'm kind of anxious to know that myself. But now, one final thing. You think our pool setup will be beneficial and a worthwhile thing for the community?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question. I thought the advantages that the town can have now in terms of publicity and somebody that wants to settle here can never find anything better, I don't
Good.
think.
Well, I hope we've got a character established that we can maintain. Thanks a lot, Dick, for visiting with us today.
Congratulations on your new opening.
Thanks a lot. Now we've got one other gentleman here who's probably the most busiest man in St. James. He's the city mayor, 1966. This is his first term as mayor. He's been in the city council for 6 years, was it, Ira? You've seen a lot of changes. In fact, we worked very closely together on the plaza when you were on the city council. Now that you're the mayor, and you're all dressed up here today and out of your lumber uniform with your boutonniere, what are your feelings today about your town now with this addition park?
Well, Ford, I think it's great. When we first looked at these plans on the pool, I sure didn't think it'd turn out like this. I had no expectation that it'd turn out like this at all.
We had a discussion on this park, didn't we, with the city people?
That's right.
And we discussed whether the city might operate it or whether we might operate it and what would be the things to build. You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes, well, we discussed those problems in your office over there, Ford, as you know. And as we thought, as the city council, thought it'd be better for the James Foundation to operate it. And
Good.
which I still think it will be.
Well, we're going to try it, and we'll see what happens. And I hope that your city council and your constituents in the city is happy with the results of what we've gotten finished here.
They're very happy for it. I mean, most of them has been here this afternoon, and the rest of them will be here this afternoon before you close.
Well, that's good.
They're very happy with it.
We hope we have a big crowd, and we hope that it certainly fits into your thinking of how a town should be.
Yes, it sure does.
Incidentally, you want to say something about that new fire engine?
Well, it's on the way. We sure appreciate having James Foundation to donate.
Maybe when we get the new fire engine, we can get a fellow by the name of Dean Moore to come back out and take a shot in that red fire engine in her uniform.
And yes, we sure like to have him.
Good. Okay. Thanks a lot, Art, for coming out. We have a few other folks here that's visiting with us today on our pool opening. And Grace, I wonder if you could introduce these folks and ask them a few questions.
This is Mrs. Bell, who's been around St. James for quite a while. This is her daughter, Mrs. Durbin, and this is Mr. Gene Lloyd.
Nice to have you folks with us, and we'd like to ask you a few questions. Mrs. Bell, we'll start with you. Since you've been a resident of St. James for many years, and you've noticed the projects we've did here in St. James, what do you think of our new addition of the pools in the park for our projects that we've had here?
I think this is the best project yet, because
Good.
I think that the children can really have good, clean recreation is very essential, and we do need more of the physical things that will develop the young people's
Well, we certainly hope that this will fill that bill for our young folks. That was our intentions, and we hope that you'll come back and use the park as much as you'd like.
Thank you.
Now, Mrs. Durbin, would you like to say a few words? You're a comparatively newcomer like myself to St. James. You've noticed our projects. What do you think of our opening today and the usefulness of our park?
Well, I agree with my mother. This is the best thing I've seen since I've been here.
Good.
And I have 6 children, and they really enjoy swimming.
I think one of these boys that's going to be our lifeguard kind of favors you a little bit.
Just a
Would you
little.
claim him?
I think so.
That's fine. Frank is going to be our lifeguard, and he is the son of Mrs. Durbin. Nice to have both of you with us today, and we hope you come back and enjoy the park.
Thank you. Thank
Mr. Lloyd, again, you're a comparatively newcomer to our town, and not so much of the old flavor, but you see what we're trying to do here, I hope. What is your idea of our projects and of the pool and park we're opening up here?
I think it's real nice. I've been here when you first started working on it, and I think it's progressed real nice. And like I say, I got 2 boys, and I'm sure they'll enjoy it, and they probably would have been here a day in it if you'd leave them in there.
Do you think that our park will meet a need that's apparent in St. James now?
For the time being, yes, but I think it'll be outgrown in about 5
You think we'll have to do it over?
I think so. The way things are going now, they compared to the Merrimack Park and this, and once word gets around about this place, I'm sure that you'll have to stand in line to get in.
Well, do you all three, let me ask you this question. Even though you didn't know Mrs. James, as Miss Muller here knew her, do you have a feeling of some aesthetic feeling towards her for being as far-sighted as she was and her remembrance? Have we done a pretty good job of having her memory in front of the people of St. James often enough to remember her as a fine and gallant lady that she was?
Definitely so.
That's
And
fine.
these things that for the betterment of the people surrounding here is, it couldn't be any better way.
Good, good.
Well, I think we're very fortunate because there's not very many towns that have someone like this to do it for you.
That's
you generally have to do it on your own, and it just generally goes by the wayside. Before we got something like this, I'm sure a lot of people appreciate it, but I imagine we'll get our gripes from it too.
Oh, there'll be some, yes. Is there anything else you'd like to say now? And,
I think there's a lot of things in St. James. If you look around, you can see things that Mrs. James has presented to the town, and you can't help but think about her.
well, that's fine. Well, we sure thank both of you, and I'd like to say just a word or two to Grace here before we sign off today. Grace, I know that there's no one in St. James or anyone left, probably other than Mr. Hayes, who knew Mrs. James and knew her wishes. And it kind of brings a soft spot to my heart, although I didn't know her, but I felt that I've indebted to her in more ways than I can mention by being able to work for her. What do you think about it? Would you say a few final words for this project?
Well, I think she would have loved this thing. She enjoyed doing things for people, particularly young people. And I think this project would be one that she would love. And you know what she said about Merrimack. She wanted it kept open to the public. This is something right along that same line, and I know she would have been thrilled to pieces with it. I really do.
Well, we hope so, and if there's a heaven above, I hope she's watching us.
Well, I'm sure she is.
Good. Thank you.
And now for the ribbon-cutting ceremonies at the St. James Park for their grand opening, we go to St. James, Missouri.
Well, thank you very much, Bill Boatman. St. James, Missouri, and its surrounding area has experienced many great moments. With the James Foundation contributing so many good things for this city, the people of St. James have wholeheartedly joined in with the theme of progress, and rightly so. This place is often called the city of the beautiful homes, the lovely flowers and lawns, the spotlessly clean plaza area, the majestic trees, the forest city. Today, St. James is having one of its finest hours. In just a moment, the James Foundation will officially present a new 23-acre park to the people of the area. And to officially preside over the ribbon-cutting ceremonies, it gives us great pleasure to turn our microphones over to Mr. Ford Hughes, representative of the James Foundation. Mr. Hughes.
Thank you, Jack. Folks, it's our pleasure today to have all of you here. We hope that this is the beginning of a great time for all of you here in this area. We hope that our facilities prove out to be what we expect them to be. All right, if you boys and girls now get ready, and we'd like you to line up, go down the walk at not too swift a pace, please, and not rush Mr. Mosier at the entrance. And if you boys will get your scissors ready, Mr. Markey, the park superintendent, will do the cutting of the opening of the gates for you, and you can cut your ribbon. So be sure to have your passes ready, and we're all set to go. The water's all set. All right, we got the scissors out, and the waited moment is here, and there it goes. The ribbon's cut. Okay, Mr. Markey, here's your crew. Let's go, boys. Right on in. We're ready to go. Okay, Jack, now do you want to move down to the bathhouse?
Ford, I think we will, but first, I think it'd be nice if you'd just briefly again go over the facilities that you have here to offer.
Well, to start off with, we have a parking lot that will hold about 300 cars, Jack. We have 3 entrances to the parking lot, one off of Berber Street from the north, and we have a new street we built, which is added to the St. James streets, James Lane, we call it. There's 2 entrances from that street, which leads off of a State Highway 68. And there should be, without any trouble at all, any congestion getting in and out of the park. We hope that we've eliminated any factors that might lead to safety hazards. Immediately from the parking lot, there are 3 concrete walk entrances into the pool and the park area. Immediately off the end of Berber Street, we have a wide walk leading right into the bathhouse and swimming pool facilities. We have a picnic shelter built onto a bathhouse area, and we have 2 fine modern bathhouses to go along with the pool. And we have the 3 pools, which I believe we mentioned before, or maybe not today, but one pool holds 110,000 gallons of water. It's 75 feet long and an average of 45 feet width. It's an Olympic-sized pool with 5 racing lanes. On the diving pool, we have, it holds about 98,000 gallons of water, and it is about 45 by 42 with 11.5-foot depth, and we have a 9-meter diving board, which another 3-meter diving board, which should take care of the people who have the athletic prowess to do some high diving. Immediately off to the south of the pool area, we have a beautifully wooded area with 2 playgrounds. One of the playgrounds is built mainly for children between the ages of 7 and about 10 years of age. There's slides and there's whirls and climbers, which is ordinarily found in most parks, with sand pits around them to prevent any damage or hurt to the children. A little further down, we have another playground, which has pretty much the same equipment, but for even a little younger age if the children want to go down and use it. We have a comfort station, very modern in every respect. We have about 30 picnic tables with grills that'll burn either wood or charcoal. We have a very large shelter, which will hold something like 250 people, with 6 individualized grills, we call them. So if we don't have large groups, we can always look for 12 or 15 families to find refuge or a place to get in under a shelter to picnic. We have a ball field, which due to the rains we haven't quite gotten finished, but it will be ready within a day or 2. They could play ball on it, but it's a little muddy right now. That's most of our facilities at the present. We think that's a pretty good group of them to be handed in. Incidentally, it took us just about a year to build this park, Jack. It was built mainly by local people. I don't think we hired anyone outside of the area of Rollins, St. James, to do the construction work on this park. It was planned by Stuart M. Mertz and Associates from St. Louis, and after the plans were drawn, the foundation did the building ourselves.
Well, Ford, I want to thank you especially for allowing us to come down and broadcast this. It's been great. Your hospitality is really something, and the park is just, you just couldn't describe it.
Thanks a lot, Jack. It's been our pleasure to have you. Thanks very much.
Frank, it's been kind of a long time since we were in front of the microphone together and talking about things. How long has it been since we made the road from Merrimack?
Well, I guess it's been almost 10 years, hasn't it? It seems like.
Yes, it's been close to 10, I guess. You were in what grade?
I was in the 3rd grade now.
3rd grade. That was my first experience in making a movie. I learned a lot. How about you?
My first, about my only, I think.
Yes.
I haven't had too much experience at that. I can see, though, this time is 10 years has passed awful fast for me, I know, and every now and then I see the film and it brings back a lot of memories, and I hope someday that maybe when I get real old, I can see it again and really enjoy it.
I remember when they came out to ask about this picture and talk about it and make some plans for it, they asked me to pick out a boy in about the 3rd grade that would be good to call Jerry in this film. Well, there were several of us standing around, and it was real interesting. We all thought of you right at the very first, the first person. And it might have been your red hair, it was your personality, it was the fact that we knew that you would be good at this thing. And the boys tell me that when they were making the film that you performed perfectly.